Welcome to Freethinkers Fireside, where we put the human in humanists one cozy chat at a time. My name is Helen, also known as Hell's Bells. So yesterday I was just like having like a sad, and I was emotionally drained. So decided to move the show tonight, and luckily James was super cool about switching the day. So I really appreciate that. So let's say hi to my guest for tonight, James Colbert. Is that right? Is it Colbert? Is that correct?
Yes, so Colbert, you can say Colbert, but you probably know the people from Stephen Colbert. We're actually family, but he uses the
Are you
French
related
version
to
of
Stephen Colbert? That's cool.
it. Yes. We share family, yes. But I haven't never met him yet, but I really do want to meet him.
You're from North Carolina, right?
No, I am in East Texas. I am in a little small town called Hallsville.
Okay, gotcha.
Uh, so yeah, I'm in Texas.
Okay. Hi, Amber. Amber, you're here. Look, I streamed on a Friday. Not the
Hey,
same time as your
I'm
show.
open too.
Hi, Trees.
Hi guys.
Yeah,
I've seen them in your
my
chat
buds.
before.
Who?
Ember and let's see, Wade the Human.
Oh, these.
I haven't.
Yeah. AJ and I are like buds, and Amber and I are buds, and Trees and I are buds because we just invade each other's streams all the time. So,
Uh, well,
and
me
sometimes
and
we like
AJ just
with each other and do things. So,
yeah, me and AJ recently connected on Facebook, I think, and
yeah.
then we connected on YouTube and stuff like that. But I mean, I've sat and talked to Kyle too, and he wasn't here, but I don't know where he ran
Yeah,
off
he'll
to.
come back. He'll come back. He always does. He'll
But
come back.
yeah.
So, um, so what? So why don't you tell the people who you are, a little bit about your background, and we can start there. So we'll do that.
So, so I in my tribe, I put in quotes, okay? So you gotta understand. I go by Alahanchi Molly, which is Chickasaw for changing winds. So that's why you see my podcast. It's called Changing Winds. It's actually my native name. Uh, and so we were talking before we went live. Um, I was sent to a boarding school, kind of like what you were talking about. We
Yeah.
actually have that. We still have that same kind of. Actually, the town that grew up in, that I live in now, we have a it's a boarding school for the rich kids, and they run away all the time.
Well, yeah.
But I was sent to it was called New Bethany Boys and Girls Home, and it was in Arcadia, Louisiana. If anybody want to look it up, and I was sent there. I was a I want to say late '93 to probably late '94. I say that because I remember David Koresh going on news, and they were taking care of that situation. But I don't even want to get there because it does interact with my story. Um, but my I was my mother had the mind of a 4-year-old. She got rheumatic fever, and she only had a fourth grade education, and she went to go take care of my great grandparents. Sorry. Um, and when she came home, okay, for instance, I say this because it has to be said and has to be understood where I come from.
Mm-hmm.
My family was very old. My mom was born in 1942, so my mom, I'm 41 now. So my mom
Mm-hmm.
had me right about the same time I am now.
My mom had me when
Uh,
she was 46.
See, wow. See,
Yeah, my
I
mom was
don't
born. My
think I've
mom was
went
born in
into
36.
it. See, I'm in a age gap because my mom was born in 42. My dad was born in 1936,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was raised by my grandma, and she was born in 1919. And
Wow.
so, yeah. So I have a lot of old school things that I've had to break down in my own life. Um, but so with that being said, with my mom having schizophrenia and rheumatic fever and all that stuff, my aunt was very controlling. And
Mm-hmm.
the problem was my aunt and my dad, she was 14, he was 21, was married. Okay. And there was a lot of problems within that situation. And me and my aunt always butted heads. And so things went down, and my brother's 9 years older than me. So, and I actually, that's what I do is I take care of my older brother because he has a mind of a 12-year old too. So I have to be the grown up.
Mm-hmm.
But my aunt and my nanny's health started deteriorating about 1992. And I was going to a independent fundamental Baptist church. Me and my brother we were members. And this is kind of my testimony for being Christian and being non-Christian because I hear a lot of Christians say, "Well, I've been a Christian my whole life." I was raised in a different kind of way because my mom and my dad and the whole family dynamics were just crazy. So me and my brother went to this fundamental Baptist church, and things started happening, and my aunt knew the people, and there was people manipulating the family situation because
Mm-hmm.
my dad died when I was 4 years old. And so dad, I got a government check from the state because my dad was dead and all of that stuff was coming to me. Well, then my mom, my brother, and my grandma all had, that was our income. And I'm going to tell this story. It it will sound weird to younger people, but for everybody that has suffered this kind of stuff, um, my I I was 8 years old, and we were having a revival, and I swear it felt like the preacher was preaching to me. And the last night they were talking about, well, if you die tonight, where would you go? And all that kind of, I was 8 years old, and it was the same exact week that my dad had, and I get really emotional around, um, I get really emotional when about August the 31st, somewhere in that area. Actually, it was the 28th because my dad died on that day, and Friday
Mm-hmm.
was the last night of that revival. And I was already, upset because my dad. And I grabbed my older brother's hand up. I'm pulling him to the front. And I become a Christian that day. I got baptized the week after, and I was 8 years old.
Because you always
And
make
I was,
sound decisions when you're 8 years old.
yeah. And I'm already, I'm already emotional because of my dad.
Yep. Yep.
So I went down and did that thing. And so as things have progressed, uh, my aunt got in with a church. She wasn't going to that church, but she was actually affiliated with them somewhere. And there was an elder of the church that he brought us to and from church, and
What?
he helped
So,
us
what
out.
church was this? Like, what
Okay,
denomination?
so the name of the church was Willow Springs Baptist Church,
Okay.
and it was an IFB church, Independent Fundamental Baptist.
Right.
But my aunt at that time was Church of Christ and International Church of God. But somehow my aunt, within the churches, there's people that move between, especially back then, that if you were affiliated with that church, you knew people that went to this church, and that's how they still do it basically today in the South. And everybody knows their dirty laundry basically. Um, and growing up in a small town, actually, I grew up I grew up in Hallsville, sorry, but the surrounding areas, I had I went to different schools from the time I was kindergarten. Well, from the time I was kindergarten to about sixth
Mhm.
grade. So anyway, this will shock some people, and people will not understand it. Is so my aunt, that that elder, and the preacher, and then the New Bethany where I was sent to. And see, New Bethany was labeled as IFB, but I believe it was International Church of God too, and some other mixtures of other denominations. Because I was only 10 or 11 when I was, like I said, it was late '93 to '94, '95. Because my dad's side of the family, my uncle, the one that I get my Native American juice from, so to speak,
Mhm.
had already passed away when I came home because that was the person I wanted to go live with. But so my my aunt and them, and somehow CPS got involved, and the CPS signed off on it, which I'm good. I would really want to know if I can get those records from CPS because I want to
Mhm.
know what the hell was going on. I really do
Right.
because if if I, and me and my aunt got, I mean, she passed away. My mom died in 2000 March the 20 March the 2nd, 25 23. Sorry. My aunt, her sister, died June the 2nd of 23. So I lost both of them, and that was the end of my family. All my family's gone, and
Oh.
I can freely speak what I have to say. But me and my aunt had this discussion too, and I straight up they so CPS, my aunt, the church got together and said, okay, we'll send him here. We'll send my brother because my brother was sent off somewhere. It's still up and running right now. It's called the Rebecca Homes, but it's brother Roloff. It was Roloff Homes or something like that, and he was sent there because he was 18 at the time, and so he was sent there, and he had to. I'm going to bring his story later, eventually, into my podcast, but anyway, I was sent there, and I was gang raped there at the age
Ooh.
of at like I said, I know I was there in the end of 1993, and the the problem was so the the preacher
And how
had
old
his
were you when that happened?
that was in 1993. So I was let's see, 92. I was 8. 93. I was 10, 9, 10. So like I said, I don't know the exact date that I was
Right.
put there.
Okay, so
I don't know.
so you were CPS moved you to this home
Yeah,
after both of your
CPS.
parents passed.
No, so
Sorry, I'm
so
trying
my
to keep track
okay,
because
okay.
it's going. There's different paths we're going down, so
Yeah,
I'm trying to follow the
it
narrative,
gets
man.
it gets deep. So my dad passed away in '88. I was 4 years
Okay,
old,
got that.
and then my mom, she like I said, she just recently passed in 23, along with my aunt.
Okay, sorry. I'm
Uh,
sorry.
so
But
so
your mom couldn't take custody
no,
of you because of her mental health issues.
no, she had custody of me.
Oh, she
She
did have
had
custody. I'm so okay.
yeah
I'm a little lost.
yeah
So
she
why does
still had
CPS get
full.
involved? So why does CPS get involved?
Okay, so like I said, it's a twist turn of story, and we
I know.
probably
That's why
can't.
I'm trying to follow the narrative because we went from
Okay,
church to CPS
yeah.
to bad things,
So
and I'm like,
it's
I've lost the thread. So
it's part of the story, and that's why I told you that you're gonna have to have me on several times for you to understand.
I know, I know. I'm
Um.
just trying to like for the audience and for myself,
So
like find
yeah,
like kind of keep like some kind of through line going because I know like it happens to me too. Like you start telling a story about your past and it's complicated and like one thing leads to another thing and then another thing leads to another thing, and so I'm
yeah.
just trying to keep like I'm just trying to say like okay like the series of events so
So
there's I can follow the through line
so
that's all. So
okay, you're good. I totally follow you, and it does get
it's
confusing
the
and.
ADHD brain, guys. And
Yeah,
trauma.
well, even people with so-called normal brains get confused with my story. So in '92, the my nanny. So my mom had all her rights with me. I gotta take my hat off.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Um. So '92. I remember that year because that's the year I got Christianized. My nanny and my mom. My mom had her full rights with me, and
Mm.
and my nanny raised me, and I say that, and I say it kind of. I loved my nanny, but she was extremely racist, and she was. I love her, and I miss her
She
because
was a racist.
she was, and she would tell you that.
No,
And
I
my nanny,
understand. People are
she
complicated. I get it.
so, but my nanny's health, she had a stroke, and my mom was off of her meds, and blah blah blah. Like I said, I really want to get my CPS records because I kind of really want to know the backstory. But sorry, stupid lie. Okay. Um, so my mom is has her rights and everything. Well, for this to happen, they had to sign over conservatorship to the church and sign
I
my
okay,
so
okay.
they had to sign my check over to them for the care of me. Um, but so when CPS got involved, my mom was off her meds. My nanny was her health was failing. I had an uncle that was very, let's say, addicted to the slot machines. We only lived like 45 minutes away from Bossier City, Louisiana. So you get
Okay.
that
Okay.
too. And he liked to come around check time, and I got loan sharks after me, and of course my nanny would give him all the money because she was, trying to take care of her son and didn't want her son to die from a loan shark. Um, but that was our life. So CPS sent me to this Arcadia, Louisiana, because my mom was off her meds. My nanny was
Mhm.
her health was failing. And supposedly they couldn't get a hold of my dad's side of the family, which my aunt was married to my dad, and my dad's side. And I only say this because I found it out much later on in life when I was talking to my uncle, and I said, "Why didn't y'all take me?" And he straight up said, "Nobody in the family knew where the hell you were at." So my dad's side of I had my dad's side of the family.
Mhm.
I had my dad's side of the family. But no, my aunt stepped in and wanted me. She basically wanted to erase me from my family because she had issues with my dad. She had
Oh, I
issues
see.
probably
Okay.
to
All
the
right. Now I'm following. Now
yeah.
it's all coming together. So,
So
okay.
you gotta. That's the backstory of my family, and my my family was really shitty on my mom's side. Even I mean, I had some really good family members on that side. But my aunt was the controller of the family. And so they sent me CPS, and what pisses me off most is CPS sent me there along with the church, along with my aunt pulling the damn string. Sorry if I'm cussing too much, guys, but that's just who I am.
Oh, you can fucking swear all you want on this show. I don't care.
Okay,
If
okay,
you
but
see my
it,
show, am I a lady? No.
no, not really. I know you're not. It's
I
cool
am
though,
not a
but
lady. I am a woman, but not a lady.
well, I still have some of my southern things that I kind of do, because they're so ingrained in my head. Um, but so I was sent there, and if anybody understands, I'm trying to read the text too. I'm sorry,
Oh
guys,
no,
if y'all are
I'm just pulling. So you keep going with your story. I'm just
so
pulling comments up and saying hi to people, doing the
so
engagement.
when okay
But I am listening to
so
you.
so when CPS happened, um, I was sent there, and it was totally different than me going to church. That's for damn sure. So in Arcadia, Louisiana, at that time, and
Hmm.
I don't really know the history because I haven't really studied it, and I'm going to. But a lot of this home was a lot of kids from, at least the male side. They were from Cambodia. They were
Hmm.
from so they were coming through Long Beach, California, and they were getting there was a bunch of gang activity within the Cambodian community, which they live like a tribe. They live exactly like a tribe does, like a Native American tribe.
Hmm.
And so those kids were coming in, and then they were following them to Arcadia, Louisiana. Well, they had never heard about Jesus or God. Well, that kind of situation. I was already a Christian. I was more, I did the whole thing, and the home knew that. So I had a high stand, even though I was 9, 10, 11 years old. I still had, I was the poster kid. I actually was going to be a preacher, and that I'm glad that never happened.
Oh,
But
you should talk to my friend Jason, because he was raised in a very fundy church in Texas, and he was named a prophet as a young child. So you
oh, wow.
guys could probably trauma bond on like some
Yeah, probably,
weird shit that happened in
probably.
weird religions.
Hey, if you want to know something funny, I'm even traumatized by Chick-fil-A because I worked there when I was in high school. I was supposed
Yeah,
to.
but the hatred makes it yummy. James, the hatred makes it yummy.
Well,
Don't
some of
give them
those,
anymore.
some of,
I don't eat there anymore, but do I miss waffle fries? Yes. With Polynesian sauce. I miss it.
oh my, the cardinal sin, the cardinal sin.
The cardinal
I
sin.
hated it.
Like we
I
got a
hated.
thing of just the Polynesian sauce for our refrigerator. So just because I just wanted the fucking Polynesian sauce. Like, it's so
And
good.
that's a cult in its own. That's a cult in its own,
I
girl.
know the Polynesian
I'm sorry.
sauce. Like, listen, don't go to Chick-fil-A.
I
But
know.
if you can get your hands on Polynesian sauce to put on your fries at home, I recommend.
I'm not going to tell
Or
you
your
a
chicken
secret
sandwich.
recipe. I'm not telling you a secret recipe because I don't want that
No,
kind of
don't tell
crap.
me secret recipes because then the universe will blow up. Okay,
but
so you
but
can tell me offline. You can tell me offline, like off the podcast secret recipes because we're friends now.
but
We're friends now.
but but, so my background of that situation. Uh, but so I was sent there, and we wasn't allowed to look at the girl side. We were split up, and uh, we and I'm God. It's not me. It's just a long story. Um, but at this home, we actually marched and drilled. Um, we sang cadences, talking about we're in God's army and shit like that. That's what we did, and they wanted us. as an army is what they wanted.
Right.
Um, so I had that, and when we would go, we had chapel in the morning, and then from we ate breakfast, then we went and got dressed for school. And I think Seth has talked about this. I think they used the ACE program. I think that's what
Oh,
I
you
was
cut out,
under
honey. Oh, you
because
go.
I was
This
there
ACE
for
program. What is?
fourth and fifth grade. I was there,
I don't know what the
and
ACE
we
program
believed
is.
the Earth was
ACE
flat and all
program.
that shit. Um,
ACE is it?
but
What is ACE pro? What is the
did I
ACE
go dead?
program? No, you went there for a second, but now you're back. What is the
I
ACE
can't hear you.
program for people that may not know what that is?
Hang on, is it mine? I can't hear you, Helen.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Hang
Can
on.
you hear me now? I know everybody else can hear me.
I can't.
You may have to change your hold on. Okay. See, now I gotta do the thing. You may need to change your speaker.
I can barely hear you. Hang on just a second.
I know, it's okay. So hey, chat, if you know what the ACE program is, because I don't know.
Oh, hang on,
I know you can hear me. I'm loud. I know you can hear me, AJ.
Hang on. I think
that's okay. I will.
Is this doing a
ACE program? Religion. Religion.
Hang on just a second.
Oh, accelerated Christian education. Is that what it is? Provides instruction for operating Christian school. So we're gonna go find out what the ACE program is. Why? This is the thing. Like, I don't know what an ACE program. I didn't grow up in this. I went to Catholic school, but I got a decent education, so I'm not familiar with ACE education. Okay. So it's a Christian education thing. Can I get an overview? Oh, one child at a time. Thank you. This sounds very bushy. Okay. Oh, no, there's no child left behind. That was the Bush thing. Pretty similar though. Okay, so Bible-based curriculum teaching children how to live, not just how to make a living. A program, and they use the special spelling of program, which is PROGRAMME, because it's fancy, guys. That's how you get the fancy spelling. And with the goal of equipping parents and children to educate children using academically proven curriculum that cultivates biblical worldview, Christian Education Europe provides access to accelerated Christian ACE program. ACE offers a complete self-instructional, that's a little concerning, curriculum that integrates Bible truths and character values throughout all subjects and grade levels. Biblical principles and concepts are interwoven into all aspects of the programming. I'm going to say programming because that sounds fancy. What is Catholic school? Because it is. Like, listen, Godspeed, I'm telling you, it's the guilt that makes it hot. That's how it works. Because then you have Catholic shame when you grow up, and then it becomes a kink. That's how that works. Anyway, so biblical principles and concepts are interwoven into all aspects of the programming. Developing critical thinking and apologetic skills, and science is taught from a biblical perspective of creation. The curriculum presents 90 character traits of Jesus throughout the pace material and incorporates role modeling that promotes biblical integrity and Christ-like character. What the fuck, guys? Like, if you in my audience experience this program, I would like to know. Leave a comment, because this is wow, or like wow, wowie, wow, 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 wow. So it offers individualized school curriculum for years 1 to 13. The 6 core sections provide for students with essential learning needs. These are the courses of maths, not just maths, English, science, social skills, word building, including etymology and literature, academic elective standalone educational software, and learning to read programs. added for enhanced learning opportunities. The curriculum is presented in a form of workbook called PACE, and each subject consists of 12 PACE per level. So packets of accelerated Christian education. I think I saw somebody, like, probably Seth, talk about this program, and I probably see a couple other people talk about this program online, which is weird because as someone who did not grow up, like, okay, like I told you, like those of you know me, like I went to Catholic school. It's okay. You're having tech problems. It's fine. I'm filling up time because I'm teaching people about the ACE program, James, because it's interesting. Um, like I went to Catholic school, but I actually got like a very well-rounded education, and like theology and science were two separate subjects, so they weren't integrated together because the Catholic Church has recognized that they haven't always been great to scientists. The Galileo thing tends to be a little thorn in their side. So, that being said, so like I got a very well balanced education, and I also went to public school for 8th grade and into high school, and I also went to college. So I got a pretty good, well-rounded education, but like this, like there wasn't. I don't remember what, even when I was in Catholic school, of like a lot of biblical teaching being interwoven into the curriculum. I just remember we went to mass, during certain times during the school year. But like, as far as learning, like, the basics, like like, okay, yes, fine, Godspeed, fine. Yes, there's many maths. Fine. To be fair, I will take it. Thank you. I went to Catholic school, and in middle school, okay, all right. So I went to Catholic school as well, and in middle school, I was picked to do a summer program. That's cool. I got picked when I was in Catholic school to do a program at to do like this college elevated it was like an accelerated learning program when I was like in 7th grade, but we were basically learning like college academics of English in 7th grade. And then I went on to do that when I went to high school. So there's that. Listen, I'm very good at the English, guys. It doesn't always show, but I'm very good with the English. So we're gonna let James work that out. So do you guys want to hear me talk about the ACE program? This is the thing about y'all, like I am fascinated by Christian education. Like I'm fascinated by it because this was not the pool that I swam in. It was not like what was the what is the one that what is that? Is it the ABLU? I know I'm saying that wrong. Like where the Funny Baptist went, and it was basically like kind of like the ACE program where you were like, why can't I not? Oh, I cannot remember the name of the fucking religion. They mentioned it on Shining Happy People, and I cannot remember the name of the program. Okay, thank you. I love you too, Aaron. You're the best. Mwah, I love you. Okay, what was the program that like the Fundy, like the Jim Bob from 19 Kids and Counting had his kids doing? Fuck, I cannot remember the name, and I'm blanking on it, and it's going to drive me crazy. The Duggars family. Yes. What was the? Yes. Thank you, Ways of Human. What the fuck was their like education program that they did? Because like I think the Pearls did it too, and like these other funny people that are influent, like very famous in funny circles, and they do a lot of child abuse. I'm blinking on it. Oh God, it's gonna drive me crazy. Oh, you think, okay, cool. All right. Like I can't, is it the IBLP? IBLP. IBLP. Institute of Basic Life Principles. That was it. That's what, like, that's what this sounds like. The A sounds like the IBLP. Like, that's what it sounds like. I thought I was going to be honest. Oh, really? so so Kelly, you and I are in the same age group. When I was in second grade, the Challenger went up, and Krista McAuliffe, who was on that particular shuttle, she is from Concord, New Hampshire, and I grew up in Manchester. So we were all like really excited because, like, oh, it's like a teacher from New Hampshire. And then we were watching it live, and I'm 8. And the space shuttle blows up. Was it distressing? Yes. Was I sad? Yes. So that was like that's a very distinctive memory to me, because I remember sitting in the assembly room in my Catholic elementary school, and it was on the second floor, because our assembly room we had like a lower floor with the classrooms, and then you would walk upstairs for like the assembly room when I was in school. And I remember that distinctly 40 years ago. Like it's never going away, guys. It's there. So okay, let's see if this works again. Okay, let's see if you're working. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you too. Great, we're back.
Is it echoey or anything?
I cannot hear you. Audience, can you hear him, please? Because I can.
Okay.
I want to make sure that the audience can hear you too. So, okay, keep going. So, okay, I had to look up the ACE program, which is because I was just like, I'm just going to read to people about the ACE program, which is nutty. So, was this like related to the IBLP program, or was it its own like thing?
Hang on just a second.
Okay.
Because I think I'm echoing myself.
Okay, everybody else is
okay.
Like AJ says, you're fine.
Okay, so
okay, cool.
When now I told y'all my cameras are jacked up. But so I was listening to you, yeah, the program kind of was that's basically. Hang on, I gotta fix this chair.
No, that's okay.
So they
is that a picture of you when you're a little boy?
Yeah, that's my son. That's
that's your son. Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, I got some weird stuff hanging up in my studio, guys.
No, I thought it was you for a second, but it's your son, so that's awesome. Okay, let's go back. Let's talk about the ACE program. So, wackadoo. That was
the coursework was the Earth was flat. That there was basically it was been us humans for the last 6,000 years. After they were like, we're only six, it's just 6,000 years, and we only went to eighth. That class only went to 8th grade. So going just to 8th grade, the kids that were 8th grade or higher, they actually worked on so they were considered the elder kids. But most of those kids were, 16, 17 years old. They were from Cambodia. So they were, sending them to do the labor, because we actually had a farm. On the weekends, the little kid, like I said, I was special. They had I was 11, 12 years old, pulling trees out of the wood, because we were actually building a log cabin from scratch. And
really,
if you ever go look up on Google Earth, if you ever want to get in the weeds with me about it, but I can tell you everything about that place.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the schooling I had. It was 8th grade. We were only 6,000 years old, and Adam and Eve were the first, and of course Eve was evil. But like I said, after 8th grade, they really didn't want to teach you much, and
right.
I have a horror story, which I don't know if we're gonna get to it tonight, but um, I so I was you know trying to figure out the world and where I that those years were very strange for me, because like I said, I was raised I become a Christian on my own. My
Right.
nanny was a Methodist, and my like I said, my aunt was Church of Christ and all these other things at that time. Um, but I say that because the pastor or the leader or whatever you want to call it, his name was Mac Ford, and I think it was actually related to Henry Ford. I really do. I think he was. Um, but so that kind of mentality and thinking of things kind of shifted my perspective on a lot of things. But
Mm-hmm.
the pastor sat in front of the church and he was preaching to both the girls and the boys. And come to find out, um, there was a couple of girls that actually got pregnant by his son or something like that.
Of
And
course. Of course. Of course.
yeah, yeah. Well, I say this because I have a lot of health issues. I have I have the PTSD and stuff like that too. But I actually have a rare heart condition called prolonged QT, and nobody in my family except for I can kind of trace it back to my Native American bloodline, kind of. But nobody has this in my family. I expect one though, because my cousin on my dad's side, she was 25 and she died of a heart attack. Which, when I found out
That's young.
about this, my doctor was like, it could have been prolonged QT, because QT doesn't show any signs of chest pains, or it doesn't show that kind of symptoms. It's a totally different situation. It's part of your electrical system in your heart. So, but there was a lot of girls that, and I talked to. There's a Facebook group, and I kind of go in and out, and I kind of got close to a few people, and there was a the some of the girls came down with cancer of. Oh, there's my. I can see the chat. Um, but so when that kind of situation happened, uh,
Mm-hmm.
like I was 32 or something when I started finding out all these health problems, and there was
Okay,
girls.
wait, before we get to that, let's go back.
Let's go.
Because you're going down this
So
road.
where
Let's go back.
so
Let's
yeah
go back.
yeah so let's go back. Where was I even at in the story? Uh, okay,
So you were so
go
we
ahead.
started talking about the ACE program. So let's go
Yeah,
back to the ACE program.
okay. So so being I was in that kind of situation. They taught us, um, like I said, and the part of the programming was we had to memorize scripture. We had a and I had a hard time remembering scripture because I have a few learning disabilities that I need to work out because I don't know, if I feel that I
I see
do have
cat.
them. Oh, that is little bit. That's one of my 8 or 9
Oh,
cats. I've got
oh
three
yeah,
in
I guess I have 4. So, but
I've got
it's because
three
I can't.
inside. I have 3 inside, and I have 8 plus the mama cat is pregnant again. So
Oh,
my aunt kind of gave me her cat
you're Snow
collection.
White. Mhm.
But yeah, that there's
Okay,
her.
so and also just like I always say that, like, because I have ADHD, I don't call it a disability. I just have a different brain, and the way that I learn and take in information is just different than neurotypical people. But it doesn't make you any less intelligent. It's just the way you learn is different. That's all it is. So that's all it is. And that's like same with people that have autism, or you're dyslexic. It's like you have the capability to be smart and take in information, but the way that you take it in is just different than neurotypical people.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing is I've some of y'all will notice this. I kind of stutter on some of the things I do. That's kind of like the reason
That's fine.
Well, the thing of it is because I was doing a live podcast on my own, and I haven't had anybody come on yet because, and I've kind of switched up doing things, but anyway.
Okay, let's go. Okay, before we go down that road, sorry, because I did think. Let's go back to the ACE program.
Yeah,
let's continue with your story, because we'll go on a tangent. So let's go back to ACE.
Yeah.
And okay, so you were trying to memorize scripture, but you were having a hard time because of the way that you learn. And I don't do with memorization well either, so I totally hear you on that.
I could.
Hi, Bella.
They wanted us to memorize every scripture that like you have to know all this scripture in 2 days, and I would get beat because I couldn't do it.
Right.
And I definitely couldn't do it under the stress of knowing that I was going to get beat, because I just could not learn it. I just couldn't do it. And there's some
obviously beating children is going to make them learn better.
Oh yeah, that's always the best policy.
That's a good method.
Yeah, that's always the best policy with that. But so I struggled with it, and I got picked on by the pastor and the leader of the boys' side all the time. But that was part of the ACE program. We had to memorize the scripture, or we got beat. Or tell you this, in this part of the curriculum, they had a probably about an acre or two that we would have to run laps being chased by emus.
What?
And I'm 11 years old. I'm 10, 11 years old, and I'm being chased by. I was being chased by, about 12 of these things. I don't know how. Yeah, we would have to. They would send us for running laps, and then they would sick the damn emus on us. And I mean, it was stupid shit like that. I was terrified of birds for the longest time.
So this was at the school that you got sent to?
Yeah, well, it was. I used to call it a school, but it was. I mean, it was
not really a school.
New Bethany Boys and Girls Home. So basically, it was a
New Bethany Boys and Girls Home. Okay, I'm gonna.
It's
You said it's still in operation.
No, it's not in operation. Boys and Girls Home.
Boys and okay, so
Arcadia, Louisiana.
Girls Home.
Yeah, it usually says Arcadia Girls and Boys Home. Is what it usually says.
Bethany, let's see. New Bethany, right?
Yep. And then it should be ANE.
Oh my God, there's so many. So many sex abuse stories? So many.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh
yeah.
Oh, it's bad, guys. If you're gonna look this up, trigger warning. I'm not gonna read it because this will trigger me. So I'm not gonna read this stuff. But if you want to go down that road, feel free. Because there's so many. It was like the first thing that came up, other than the Salvation Army.
Yeah. And I've
So
had to
much.
learn.
Like, there's like several sexual child abuse stories.
Well, they don't tell them.
I-
Well, actually, there is a story on Netflix, and I actually know some of that story. It's on Netflix. Oh, what is it called? There's a. It's a story of two of the boys, and they were put in cages. Y'all can look it up. I think you could
Okay,
probably
let's not talk
search.
about trauma stuff. Let's
Yeah,
stick
yeah,
to,
yeah.
okay. Let's stick to. Well,
So
I mean, like, we're gonna talk about trauma stuff, but we don't want to go down too dark of a
yeah,
road
yeah.
for
You don't
now.
want to
Like,
go down that road right now.
yeah, it's not a
So
good road, guys. Like, I was just
yeah,
like,
yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah. It takes people. Like I said, it will take people wanting to reach out to me and chat with me about it. But
Yeah,
yeah, so I was that was my life,
So
and
how long were you there?
so like I said, it was late '92, and my my uncle on my dad's side of the family died in '96, and by the time I got back home, he had passed away. And I'm gonna say this because it's just to cut where we need to cut. I was originally supposed to go to David Koresh in Waco.
You're gonna be a Branch Branch Davidian?
I will tell you this, and some of you will
Wow,
people
that's
will say
insane.
my. I'll tell you the reason why. So when I came home, I was pretty pissed and pretty trying to figure out where I stood with the family. And I knew where I stood with my
Aw,
aunt.
hugs. Oh, thank you, Kelly.
Thank you,
Kelly's the
Kelly.
best.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm
But
listening. Go ahead.
when I got home, me and my aunt had issues. I mean, we had them. And so she wanted to start trying to control me. And so what I did is I ran up our Prime Star bill. And you can guess what our satellite TV was the biggest thing back then. I ran her satellite bill up to like $6,000.
Were you watching
With
porn?
I sure was. I sure was. I was pissed at the world and I didn't give a shit. So yeah, I
I,
did.
I
And
I admire that about you.
and I ran up the house bill too with 900 numbers. Yeah. Uh yeah, I kind of set that on fire. Well, the reason I found this information is because my aunt decided one day she was going to leave her safe open that was in her bathroom. And I went in there looking for something. And something in my eye just caught the safe. And my aunt would not let me have name brand clothes. Uh, just I had to be a nerd basically. And I was the kind of kid that hey, I wanted to have everything because I didn't have everything growing up, and
Right.
I started I wanted it. Well, she left the safe open, and there was a pile of money with my mom's name on it, and a pile of money with my name on it, and
Oh, then it's
I took about $6,000. Well, within that paperwork, I found letters from David Koresh to my aunt. To
that's
my aunt.
insane.
My
That's
aunt had
insane.
already paid him some odd money.
So
I don't like I
you're 2 degrees from David Koresh.
yes, yes.
That's
And
fucked up.
he was
Crazy
Seventh
and
Day
fucked up.
Activist. He was Seventh Day Activist. So you got
Oh,
independent
that he was a
fingernails.
7 day, but did he? But like the Branch Davidians was his own sect of that, right? Because he thought he
Yeah,
was the Messiah
he
as a
was a branch.
classical cult leader and narcissist.
Yeah. 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 And so that's the thing is I grew up and when I found out I was supposed to go there, I took the money to school. I didn't want the money. I I had a big crush on a lot of girls. I mean, a lot of girls. So I had $6,000 in my hand.
That's what I'll do to guys is the hormones.
And I took it to school and I started giving these girls money. I'm like, you know what? Y'all want to pick on me and y'all want to talk shit about me. I'll get you one way or the other. And, I'm thinking these girls are going to go home and, they're not going to say nothing. Mind you, my aunt was a teacher aide, okay? She was a teacher aide at the school I was going to. I get called to the office, which I never got called to the office on anything. The principal and my aunt's in there along with all these other counselors. And they're like, they slapped this money on the table. And I'm like, oh fuck. Here I go. So me and my aunt had it out. I can't stand you, blah, blah. Look, you have your issues with my dad. You're going to have issues with me because I'm tired of you controlling me. And so, she, in her fashion, the elder of that church, mind you, I go to live with his son-in-law, or his son and his son, or daughter-in-law, or it might have been his daughter. And they were IFB, but they went to a public school. And so I was being brainwashed by IFB that whole time. And they made their kids they didn't have the money for private school or anything like that, but they made them read the Bible from the time they got out of school to the time they went to bed. They do their homework, and it was all about the Bible. And it was they were stricter than shit with me. And I still had I still had that in me of trying to rememorize scripture. And like I said, I was behind in school. Like I was literally way behind in school. Like 6th grade, I was supposed,
because you weren't getting an actual education.
Yeah, and
and you don't have the resources in those places that in public school that if you have a learning disability that you learn differently. That you don't get those resources, and then you're punished for not falling into line. But it's like, but my brain is different. I'm not going to absorb the same information as like my friend does because we have different brains.
Yeah. And it just, and they were trying to teach me algebra in 6th grade. And I could not understand how you get A plus B equals C. Good. And I still don't. It goes over my head.
I understand statistics like that for some reason because it appeals to my analytical brain. Algebra and other forms of math have too many rules and like steps, but I would get mad because sometimes I would get the answer right, but how I got there was not the way the teacher wanted me to get there. But I'm like, but I still got the right answer. Like, I just don't know how I got there. I just got there.
Yeah. So, my thing was I could do it long. I could do it in the long form. Like I would go around the formulas. I would go around them.
Yeah.
And my algebra teacher would get pissed because I was getting the answers right, but when I got into high school, so I had to take algebra 1 and 2 in high school. Or I only had to really take algebra 1 because I graduated on the, so I was a tech prep student because I did all the technology stuff, of course. But I did not understand algebra. And to be on the next level for the scholarships and stuff, I didn't take algebra 2. I wasn't going to take algebra 2. But my teacher, that it was my algebra 1 teacher, he made, like, I went to all his tutorials and he told me, if you take all my tutorials, I will make sure you at least pass. And I did. I squeaked by and I kept my GPA up.
So 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 you were having problems like memorizing scripture,
Yeah.
and because that's just not the way your brain works. I totally get
Yeah.
that. Like I have a really good memory, but if I find you boring, fuck that. Anyway,
Yeah.
like I'm bored. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. And see, that's the thing.
So what? So and there would, and obviously you were like, we were talking before the show about like these schools where they send like, you know, it's usually for rich Christian people that their kid, like, you know, is doing typical teenage stuff. They don't know how to parent, so they send them off to these schools where they want other people to
Train their kids.
train up a child, basically.
And I don't want to stumble on you.
Yeah.
But if you look up Heartlight Ministries in Hallsville,
Okay.
Texas, they're actually like 5 minutes down the road from where I live. I live up a stone throw from them.
Heartlight.
Heartlight. I think it's Heartlight, and then Heartlight Hallsville, Texas. If you pull that up, that's and it's $60,000 a year for their kids to go there. 60 grand. And I'm gonna say this.
You say $6,000?
60 grand for 9 months of treatment. That I looked up the tuition because
Residential Heartlight Ministries Residential Counseling Center.
Yeah. And
what and the actual fuck is this? Ugh.
And I say this because they're 5 minutes from me, and I went to school with kids, so they used to let their kids come to public school, to my public school, and they said they were going to stop that because my graduation class had such an evil how did they put it? An evil experience on their kids. So everybody from the time I graduated, they don't go to public school anymore. They don't go to public school anymore. And this is kind of where I'm at in my life.
Okay.
Is I want to take these schools down. I really do.
Oh yeah, they're fucked up.
And the reason for that is because I know how it feels. And you know, my kids, I will say this, and this will go and be out there. I used to be a really crappy dad, and I did. I was a really crappy dad because of there was other issues
because of shit.
on.
You weren't taught secure attachment. You weren't taught how to love your child properly because it wasn't modeled for you.
Yeah.
So how are you supposed to parent when you weren't giving good parenting skills?
And
you know,
what makes it really bad,
like it doesn't excuse it, but it explains it.
See, and a lot of people will say, "Well, blame your mom and dad." It wasn't my mom. It wasn't my dad. It wasn't even though my nanny had her issues. It was my aunt that had issue with my dad. She had an issue with my dad. My mom loved my dad. And she would used to say shit to me like, "Your dad raped your mom," and blah blah.
Like that's
yeah. And how do you think I'm gonna
watch the R word because of the algorithm of the YouTubes? Say that's okay. I think we should be able to say because that's what it is. I usually say essay. I usually say essay because of the algorithm. It has I'm the person, and as a essay survivor, I want to call it what it is, but the fucking internet is stupid. So henceforth, I have to
I'm
say,
still
be
learning.
sure
I'm still
you
learning.
use the proper grammar because I don't want to get flagged. So
I understand.
I'm not
I understand.
monetized yet, though, so it should be okay. But
Yeah, but
just because of the
yeah,
algorithm, because
yeah,
it gets weird. It's stupid.
yeah.
Is the internet stupid, guys? Yes. Should we be
Uh,
able to call things what they are? Yes.
yeah,
But can
yeah.
we? No, because
No,
the algorithm Autobots don't know how to differentiate between nuance.
and they're scared about AI. My bad.
All right, no, we're not going to talk about
But,
AI.
but anyway,
Okay, so your aunt would tell you like these horrible stories about your dad and your mom and a young person is trying to kind of make sense of all that, and because your experience doesn't match what somebody's telling you, so
yeah,
I have to imagine that would kind of I'm like it's gaslighting. It's making you
yeah.
question your reality.
Oh
I would
yeah,
imagine.
and it wore on me, and so and I will tell you this, um, and this is where I lost my faith. Uh, I went through the whole Gnostic stuff and that kind of thing, and in 2019, uh, I had to realize, and like I said, I was taught by my uncle on my dad's side on my Native American stuff, and it hits me hard because that's something that I love. I love it, and I eat, breathe, and drink Native American stuff, and I'm still trying to learn them because, as I was telling people, I was not raised in a tribe, and but in 2019, I had to make this call. Um, I woke up one morning and I said, I can't be a Christian anymore. My wife isn't. She's not a Christian. None of my kids are. Well, my
Mm-hmm.
oldest stepson is. But I still identified as a Christian. And I said to myself, I woke up that morning and I said, I can't be a Christian anymore. If I'm going to live as a Native American, I had to get rid of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
Mhm.
had to get rid of it because of all the crap that happened to them.
You mean colonialization?
Yes, yes.
And
I'm
Christians
trying,
being terrible to native tribes?
and I, and
Not good look, guys.
and that's the thing is if I want. I don't know if you see it or not. But see my flag back there.
Yeah.
So I've had that flag made since 2019,
Mm-hmm.
and I came up with the design and everything. Uh, that flag, I don't know why I have it. I really don't. Yeah, I just had it made. Everything that I have, I make, and they sit there for years until just still in that situation. And when I came out as an atheist,
Sure. So there's a
there you
better
go.
picture. There's a better picture of it.
Yeah, yeah. That's I designed all that, and the snake in the middle actually is part of my Irish roots. That snake is actually I found it tied to my Colbert lineage from Ireland. So that's why the
Okay,
snake's on there.
gotcha.
That's why the snake's on there. Um, but I could not put myself as a Christian anymore.
Right. That's
And
understandable.
so then I'm also an outcast for because my family is Chickasaw, native to
Mm-hmm.
Alabama. And I've done DNA tests and stuff like that, and it's there. But
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't raised in a tribe. I don't even know if I can say this on YouTube, but I'm going to. You can tell me if I can or not.
I have no idea.
So, me being the way I am, I went to the tribe and I said, "This is my." If any of y'all don't understand this, the Dolls Act. Okay, this was part of the Trail of Tears. This was part of that movement of removing my family.
Mhm.
If you look up Colbert and Chickasaw, and you will see all this paper. My grandfather, his name was George Colbert, and he had a brother named Logan Colbert, and there was some others. My family is like huge in the Native American, and if you go, it's called, if you look up OK Historical Archives or something like that, and you research
Mhm.
the dolls rolls, you can put in a last name, and it will tell you if there's the Native American or there if they so they the Dolls Act removed them from Alabama
Okay.
to Oklahoma. That's
Okay.
that those families were documented going from Alabama to Oklahoma. And
Okay.
all if you look at the Colberts on that lineage, that's my family. Their
Okay.
aunts and uncles and stuff like that. My grandfather and them, they didn't come over during the Trail of Tears. They stayed, and they claimed
Mhm.
themselves to be white because they could pass for it. It was better for them to pass as white than Native American because they looked white and they acted white. Um, I don't really know the religion of my dad's side of the family. I really don't. Um,
Well, and I think
but
that's part of the assimilation
and,
process,
and you know what's
because it
weird?
only takes 2 generations for a complete erasure from the previous sort of culture or beliefs of it only takes 2.
Yep.
So within your grandparents' time, basically within your grandparents' time lifeline, is that basically like if you're started out like as a Native American tribe and then a bunch of white people came in and it was like, nope, you don't get to be Native American anymore. We're gonna colonize you to become a Christian white person, and we're gonna shame you for the way that you
Yeah.
speak, your culture, the things that you hold sacred, the things that bind your community together. You don't get to do that anymore. And then within 2 generations, you've already taught the grandchildren to assimilate into whatever culture that you need to be assimilated
And
into.
and and see that's my problem right there. Is
Mhm.
I didn't grow up with it, and a lot of the and I say this with respect for my tribe, they don't know who they are.
Catnip's here. Hi, honey. Sorry, keep going.
But they don't know who they are,
Right.
and that's the thing is after I dropped being when I stopped being a Christian, uh, and people will say that's woo woo, and I know some of the atheists will say changing winters bullet, and they have that right. But when I left as an atheist, and I really started to open up to be my native self, my spirit animal. I don't know if you see it or not.
No, I can't.
Uh, that was my first drawing,
I
and
think it's
my
a dinosaur.
grandma.
It looks like a dinosaur. Oh,
No, it's a deer with
it's a
a.
deer. Okay, I see it now. Okay, like it took me a minute.
So it's a version of
The way that it was
it's a
facing, it looked like the top of the head looked a little like a
yeah
dinosaur. So
yeah
when I
yeah.
was all excited, I was like, "Is your spirit animal a
No,
dinosaur?"
my spirit animal is a deer. So and
Mine's
the
a
peacock.
dragonfly. So
So I have the peacock is my nanny.
Mhm.
Because like I said, my nanny was my rock.
Yeah.
But my spirit animal is a deer. And the day as that happened, 2 deer show up in my. I lived in an apartment complex at the time. 2 deer show up by my porch, and I knew I was on the right path. And then that flag, I went marching down one of the main streets where I lived at the time. 2 deer crossed my path, and
Mhm.
I told I called out to the deer. I said, the road's not safe. Please go back into the woods. They stopped and then they turned and went back into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm on the right path. I know that I should be an atheist, and I'm an atheist for the reason that I don't believe in their God. I don't believe any of this shit anymore. I just can't believe it. And I was telling some people in the Discord, I'm trying to figure out. I'm seriously just looking for, okay, what happened? What did Christians think of the people before 6,000 years ago? Because Native Americans go back 20 grand here.
Yeah, but that's propaganda.
But what I'm saying is, what happened? You're saying
Yeah.
all those people were not human? Or they didn't have a soul? Or what?
They don't exist before 6,000 years old.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like until God or
yeah,
Yahweh or whatever brought the world into being, like those 20,000 years of Native American people that were living on American soil don't get to be counted.
Well, see, here's the thing, is the way I looked at it. And when Jesus was supposedly alive, what was going on in the United or the Americas at the same time? What was going on? Because if Jesus was God, would you not think, okay, well, if he's really true, then he would magically come over to the United States or the Americas, and shouldn't if I was God and I wanted to make myself known, wouldn't I want to go to every people group at the same time? And would I not want it to line up and say, oh, this guy showed up during, and they see.
But that's what the Mormons say.
But that's what I'm saying.
That Jesus appeared before the Native Americans, and their skin turned lighter because that shows that they're good people. Like, okay, Joseph Smith, you're fucking racism.
Don't get me with LDS, because I was going to join their church because of
we only have 8 minutes left. Because I have a hard stop at 8:25.
Okay,
but
I understand.
But we're gonna do a part 2. Okay, so so we're gonna do the speed version. We're gonna go back, but so where you are now on your path, like exploring your Native American roots, where are you right now?
So where I'm at now in my life is, I personally, I'm to that point where all my kids are fixed to be graduated, and I'm to that point where I just don't give a shit. If
I appreciate that about you.
I just don't give a shit. And that's the thing is, with things that's going on, you're not going to tell me how to fucking believe. You're not going to tell somebody else how to believe. And I say this, and I don't know how I'm going to say this. My best friend, my kid's godfather, works for the school, and my daughter is in the same school, and he watches after. And I said, hey, what about the 10 Commandments going up in school? Because I'm in Texas and they're there. He says all the teachers have them behind filing cabinets. Most of the teachers have them behind filing cabinets. They'll still say they're Christian and stuff like that at school. And I'm like, because the kids that are teaching my kids, I went to school with. They're my grade. They're my age, and I know most of them. And my deal is you I'm not going to sit there and down Christians. I'm not going to, because I do understand it. I do. You want to believe in something. It's a tribal thing. It really is.
Yeah.
And I don't, but to me, you're not going to tell my kid. Somebody asked my daughter 2 weeks ago, or 2 or 3 weeks ago, do you believe in Jesus? And you know what she said? I don't give a fuck what that dude did. I don't believe in the son of a bitch. And she came home and told me that. And the kid just, she said, I don't know and he asked her why. He goes, because I don't believe in a fairy tale.
Right.
And that comes from me because I've said that before. But I don't care what you believe. If you want to believe the sky is purple and it shits
You can believe
rainbows
it.
full.
It denies reality. But
I mean, but all we have in this life is now. And like I said, I've just now started to understand the community of the queer community. And I really do think that if the trauma that I had in that situation where I was in that cult, I don't know if I'd still be straight because I don't really care about it. And see, I was taught that sex was not talked about because like I said, my family was old. You don't want to talk about that kind of crap.
My parents are products of the 30s.
So I
found out, like, as a queer woman growing up in the 90s, I found out sex from like friends. And one of my brothers was like, hey, if you're going to have sex, you better get on birth control because mom's going to kill you if you come back home pregnant. And I was like, fair.
Well, and see, that's the thing is you can speak to me on this, and I know you got a hard stop. And
yeah,
I
I'm
want
sorry.
to
I
talk
have
to
a very important phone call at 8:30. I'm sorry.
I want to talk. I want to actually come on and talk to you about this too, with others. But my best friend, we were sitting there talking, and he's like, dude, he's like, did you know anything about polyamory in school? And I said, hell no. And he goes, supposedly it came for our generation. And I'm like, what? What? And he's like,
no.
Why didn't we get involved in this? I was like, well, I thought that was a Mormon thing,
No, it's polygamy.
Well,
not polyamory. Two different things.
But that's what it looks like to me. I grew up, you don't talk about, you don't do that.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, especially if you're growing up in like a male dominated culture, you're growing up in a patriarchy.
Where
and Mormons live in a patriarchy. Like, women can't have multiple husbands, but the men can have multiple wives.
Well, okay.
Because Joseph Smith, I think his youngest wife was 14 years old when he was 31.
Dad.
Which is gross on every level.
My dad was 21 when my aunt being 14. So,
well, like, yeah, when you grow up in those, like, I understand that when you grow up in those structures, it's normalized, but that doesn't make it okay. You recognize that you're culturally influenced to do this, but it doesn't deny the reality of the psychological development and cultural and physiological development of human beings. And that's where it gets fucked up. You can say culturally this is something that we've been doing, but the effect of it is fucked up because it screws with people. So I'm so sorry. Like, this is like, we're gonna have to do a part 2, and we can definitely do longer. We'll do a schedule. I just have I have a hard stop. I'm so sorry, guys. This is a rabbit hole where, especially we're talking about cult and psychological shit and all these things. Like, it's never just like a clean conversation. So we'll plan a part 2. Probably and next time I won't have a stop. I'll just keep going until we decide that we're done. So we'll plan for that. In the meantime, I did put the link for your channel into the doobly-doo. So go. So what kind of content do you produce on your channel?
So right now, if you go to my channel, I've got 77 videos up. I've been working this year to have 100 videos and 100 subscribers. So have 100 videos, 1 per subscriber.
So go subscribe.
Yeah, please. So I did some poems that I wrote, and they talk about my Native American history and how I interwove it. And now I've switched to my known personality, which I write a lot of poems, and then I put them into I have the art for them and stuff like that, and I put them into videos with music, sound,
Nice.
and it's just me healing. It's me expressing.
No, and that's yep.
And so that's what I do. That if that kind of stuff interests you, I make fairy garden. Like I have a actual fairy garden that I'm building, but all the poems that I write are based.
You're a pagan. I'm an pagan. So so no shame. Okay. So okay.
My story goes through those.
Okay, so we'll talk more about that. We can talk more about atheopaganism and all that weirdness as well. So anyway, y'all. I will be back here Tuesday. Susan Gerbic. Oh my, Susan Gerbic will be here on Tuesday. We're going to talk about. She's part of the Wikipedia Gorilla team, and she debunks psychics. And through scientific inquiry, she's super smart. So she's going to come on Tuesday. We're going to talk probably about psychic mediums and bullshit. And then Rob Palmer from Recovering from Religion, and one of my dear friends, he's also going to talk about skepticism and psychic phenomena. That's bullshit. So we're going to talk about, so that's going to be Tuesday and Thursday of next week. So in the meantime, everybody like and subscribe. Go to James's channel, the Changing Winds podcast, and also like and subscribe and watch some of his shit. In the meantime, otherwise, I wish everyone a wonderful Friday. Go get a drink or smoke a bowl or whatever you want to do. Get laid. I don't care. Have an orgasm, everybody. It's the weekend. I wish everyone, until I see you on Tuesday, be kind, stay skeptical, give someone a compliment, and I will see you all here on Tuesday. Bye.
Bye, guys.